Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Welcome back to Conversations with JR. It is March. We're going to enter into spring. It is Woman Her Story Month. This is a time when we take time out to honor women, past, present, and future, for all their contributions, their sacrifices, their voices that made it possible for women to be seen, heard, and for us to achieve the impossible. So I say thank you for all of my ancestors. I say thank you for all the women who are paving the way right now and for the future. Today's topic on Conversations with JR is going to be focused on the family. And I think it's very important for us and this day and this time, after everything that we've been through in this pandemic, to really, really think about and focus on the family. You know, you hear people say that family is blood. But that's not always the case. And you hear people say blood is thicker than water. That's when people try to interfere with family who is not blood. But that is not always the case. And some people also go by that the original makeup of family is a woman and man who comes together in love, and they produce children, and therefore the generations go on and on and on. You know, the generations live on. Well, it's okay for you to have what you think in your mind of what family is. There's no wrong and no right, and I am not sitting here pointing a finger and telling you you're wrong, I'm right, this is what make up family. My concern on Conversations with JR, it is about the lost foundation of the family. What I see as the lost foundation of the families. What I have seen and continuously to observe is that families have been divided and they've been broken and they've been destroyed. And this causes us, everyone, um, to live in a society, to live in a world that is out of balance because we have lost the the bonding and we have lost that solid foundation of family. That I think it's very important to a society that we understand sometimes why things go wrong, and it is the family unit that basically is the foundation of society. But I don't think anyone is looking at that and paying attention. I am lucky that myself and my siblings, we were fortunate enough to raise in a time, I'm a baby boomer, where a two-parent home was normal. It was a normal thing to have a two-parent home with supportive, extensive family members living right there in your home with you. And I like to add this. I was talking to someone the other day about, it takes a village. Well, when I grew up, there was a village that helped raise us. It was in the community, it was in the neighborhood, it was in the schools, it was in the church. All that was included in the village. And children of my generation, we had to learn to respect that village. Regardless of who the elder person was that was chastising us or disciplining us and giving us rules and regulations, we had to respect those people without saying. We had to respect them. But that's not going on in today's society. Everybody is in this. That's not my family. That's not my blood. But, people also say that, family is everything. You hear people say, family first, family is everything, or without family, you have nothing. Well, I like to ask my viewers and my listeners a question. If these sayings are true, then why are families struggling to stay together? How come we are living in a world that we are living in a society where families are struggling to maintain and stay together as a solid foundation? Over the years, I've been always wondering what is happening to the foundation of family. Um, and why there are so many other people out there who are choosing to make their own version of what a family is. You know, people who are stepping outside of family for whatever the reason is, and all their friends become family, and they disregard the family that they were born in, and everybody else becomes family. They become family. Now, I don't see anything wrong with that, but I am talking about the basic structure and unit of a family: mother, fathers, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. What is happening to this foundation of family? You know, you have, I just want to make a few points of when I say families are being divided and they're being broken, they're being torn apart. You know, you have families who, fathers who are walking away from families. Now, I don't live in that situation. I don't claim to know what's going on. I don't say that people should stay in situations where they are not happy, whatever the reason be. But they're walking away from family, and they're walking away from their children. They're walking away from their children. And that takes something away from the home and something away from children. And then you have wives or you have mothers who are pushing men out the door. For whatever reason, again, I am not in these homes. I'm only talking about what I see, what I know, and my viewers, you know this to be true. You see it for yourself. You see it happening every day with women, mothers, wives, or whatever. They are pushing men out of the home. And what you're doing when you have children, what you're doing is that you're taking away a vital asset to that home. Now, I'm not saying that people should stay in situations if it's a domestic violence situation, if the situation is unhappy, if you're being abused. I'm not saying that you should stay in a situation that is not loving, that is not emotionally supportive, where there is no bond, there is no partnership. But I am thinking about the children in certain situations when I talk about this. You know, also with these broken marriages, when we look at sometimes some of these broken marriages, you can see that what is happening is that sometimes the husband or the wife have one foot inside the house and the other foot on the outside of the house. And there is no bonding. There is no foundation for the children. There is no role models there for the children. The mother and father seems to be in competition with one another. Families have been and continued unto this day, especially in the African American family. I cannot talk about anybody else's race because I am an African American woman, and I'm talking about what I see in African American homes. We have been destroyed by lies, we have been destroyed by secrets and grudges and competition between the haves and the haves nots within family members. I see mothers who are trying in this generation, they want to be best friends with their daughters or their sons, and they want to be best friends with their friends, and they want to relive their youth, and they want to relive their life instead of guiding and protecting and nurturing their children and being that role model, especially for the girls. Dressing appropriately, self-care, self-worth, self-respect, teaching them these things. But instead they want to be best friends, and they want to twerk, and they want to hang out, and they want to relive their youth, you know. And these are a lot of things that is breaking up the foundation of families. You have fathers who are living in a home, and their only interest is that new ride that they got. You know, they love these rides. They nurture these new cars. They clean them. You know, they worship them. And then they get these big screen TVs in the house. And on the weekends, because they work Monday through Friday, they feel obligated. They feel that they're owed something. And on the weekends, they're sitting at home and they're glued to these big screen TVs, and they're watching sports, and they're ignoring their children. They're ignoring their responsibilities, and they're pushing it all on the mother. And then she is already frustrated. She's already angry. She's already overburdened. She's already frustrated. So this is another recipe for failure in the home, chaos in the home, and then there goes the foundation of family. there goes family time, family structure, family night out. It all goes through the window. Children of this generation, I see that they are allowed to roam the streets. They are allowed to roam the streets at night and day, 7 days a week, even if they have school. They are allowed to roam the streets without curfew. And I shake my head. The reason why I shake my head, because people of my generation, when you grew up, you knew when that street light came on, you know what time it was. Our mothers didn't have to come look for us. Our fathers didn't have to come look for us. We knew what time it was to get home and be indoors. But not this generation. You know, I see children talking back in this generation, talking back to family members, talking back to the elders, you know, having attitudes, being angry all the time, getting into physical fist fights with family members, drawing blood, calling the police. Why? Because society has given children power over guardianship. That's another that's another way of breaking up the foundation of family. You know, men that are unemployed, men that are incarcerated, you know, being taken out of their homes. I want you to think about this conversation that I'm having with you right now about the foundation of family and what is happening to the foundation of families. And I'm going to go on with more. Family gatherings. Family gatherings are not what they used to be. They're not what they used to be. There is so much rivalry between family members that no one knows who they can and cannot invite. And if someone is not being invited, then the next person said, I'm not going because so and so is not going, and that's not right. You need to fix what is going on in the family. You need to let go of those grudges. You need to forgive. We need to love. We need to support. Look at the society that we're living in right now. Look at all the brokenness that's going on in society right now. We need the foundation of family to come back again. We need to solidify this bonding in the home, the teaching of good values, of good morals, of respect and self-respect and judgment. That needs to go back to be taught in the home. It has to start again with the home. I hear so many people use the excuse, I'm busy, I'm working, I'm busy, I'm working. And these children are just running all over the place. And there is no, what happened to sit down and have dinner? What happened to sit down and let's talk, God forbid? Do you know what's going on in your children's life? Do you know what they're doing in school? Do you know what their interests are? Do you know who they're talking to in school? Who they're not talking to in school? Do you know who their friends' parents are? That's the generation that I grew up with. Parents, they knew. They knew. And then when you get together in these family gatherings, here's a big one. You know, you go to these funerals and everybody wants to come together for a funeral. Now everybody wants to unite doing this funeral, and then someone gets up and make this grand speech about, you know, how we should do better as a family and how we should start to heal and mend the rifts within the family. Now you and I know that that's just talk. That's just a big show. That's just a big talk. People are mourning. People are depressed because a loved one has gone on, and they probably had a rift with that person, and people are drinking at the repast. So they're bound to say anything. After the funeral is over with, after the tears have dried, after the mourning period is over with, everybody go back to being the same way they was. Divided, angry, not speaking, holding grudges. Is that the way our family should be? Is that the way things are meant to be? And our children are watching. They are watching this. That's why nieces and nephews and cousins are not getting along. Because they see what is going on. There is no love. There is no compassion. There is no support. There is no sympathy. There is no bonding. There is no respect in families anymore. I hope by now you understand where I am going with this. My intentions bringing this subject to you, bringing this topic to you about the lost foundation of family is to bring awareness of how we are not paying attention in today's society about what is going on with families. with families. And I am hoping that this is a social issue that is inside the church, is inside the home, is inside communities. I live in a community where I basically really don't know anyone. When I was growing up, that was unheard of. Every family knew everybody. We were supportive of everyone. We had that tight knit bond. We had communication. We had support. We have help. Now everybody's just going off and doing their own thing, and that's not my problem, and that's not my responsibility, and that's her children, and that's his children. What happened to the village? What happened? What kind of society are we bringing our children up, and how are we living? You know, when I talk about the brokenness of families, I am talking about that in society today that we are already bearing the scars of a population of people who are dysfunctional. We have a lot of mental health issues. We have a lot of fighting and arguing going on back and forth between mothers and fathers and with the children, and baby mothers are fighting for child support. You know, we have a lot of scars in society. We have a lot of things that's going on in society that is dysfunctional. And if we don't start to look at the family unit and start healing the family unit, you know, we're going to continue to have wounded people, lost people, hopeless people, disconnected people in this society. Why? Because we're not taking it back to the original. We're not taking it back to the foundation of family. So I am hoping that you listen to this, share, like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. But I am hoping that Conversations with JR, and this happened in my own family, and I am making steps to help ensure that it doesn't continue to go on in my family. Enough is enough already. You should be the one. Be the one. Be the one to try to get that foundation of family back together again. It is so important. It is so important to our lives. If we say family is everything, if we say family comes first, if we say family is blood, then let's start acting like it. This is Conversations with JR, and I am hoping that this conversation will get you and your family on a path to healing and mending and sharing and getting back to that original foundation of family love, family bonding. Until the next time, I hope the next conversation that you have is with your family. Thank you for listening.